and I'm speaking to you about a subject about which I can comment that ironically, although we are talking about water scarcity and how to enhance the supply of water, in the city of Mumbai, it's been pouring incessantly from the early morning. Huge amount of rain. So that's the irony of it all, if I may add. Having lived in Israel for more than 25 years, I can confidently state that the country opened up many opportunities and has offered a wide area of technology solutions in various facets of water and agriculture. I'd like to add here at the outset, India is much, much larger in size and of course in population than Israel. So the question does come up, why should India be looking at a very small country like Israel? Size of 600 kilometers north to south and 10.1 million people altogether. But the interesting thing is that this particular country has built on the challenges it faced. It took a challenge and converted it into an opportunity. And that is what I personally learned while in Israel. And I'm now trying to forward that, to make people understand that out of want comes innovation. Historically, there is a scarcity of water in the region of Israel. 80% of the land of Israel was desert at its formation, 1948. Just 600,000 people. There was just one, and is in fact just one principal river, that's the River Jordan, carrying water from the Sea of Galilee throughout the country, and also needing to supply water to Jordan, which is virtually landlocked except at the southern part, and the Palestinian Authority. There are a few pockets of aquifers in the south of the country. Once the principal source of water supply for agriculture in the arid regions of the Negev and the Arava Valley. I'm talking about a good 1,500 years ago when there was a pretty active coverage of agriculture in the region, despite it being a desert, because the water came out of the aquifers. Much of this water today is saline, but they needed to be resourceful and innovative. Thus came the dramatic application of drip irrigation. Some farmers in the kibbutz simply discovered that feeding droplets directly to the roots of plants made them grow more effectively, even if water is scarce. The same with land that is dry and saline. Saline reduction was possible through research and hard work. So what should our goals be in the efforts to manage water better in India? If we can go back to the previous slide. Over here is the map of Israel with its surrounding countries, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, and the rest. The blue patch that you see is the River Jordan. It emanates from the hills up in the north, bordering Lebanon and Syria, comes downhill first into the Sea of Galilee, which is a huge reservoir today, and then flows down gently all the way down to the Dead Sea. But along the way, it has to service both Jordan and the Palestinian Authority. So over time, the water source depleted. And in the early 1990s, an Israeli minister put out a clarion call saying that if we don't do something about water, the next wars are going to be based on water. And we wondered what he meant. We were perplexed. But along the way, we discovered that his words had a lot of importance. And immediately people began to think about alternatives. When you have a challenge, you begin to think about alternatives. And this is how we went into both drip irrigation, desalination, conversion of wastewater into water that can be used in agriculture, and so on. Israel is ranked at the top in wastewater usage, with more than 95% of wastewater recycled for agricultural purposes. Spain and Singapore are second best, with just 30% wastewater recycled. Let us aim for a goal of 7 to 8% initially. That should be our target. How do we do that? Principally by recycling municipal wastewater on a larger scale. You're looking at one of the largest wastewater projects in Israel. Along with a few others, this plant is able to recycle water, municipal wastewater mainly, and put it to use in agriculture, coming up to a level of, as I said earlier, 95% usage, which is remarkable. At present, most of the wastewater is ejected into rivers and the sea, in India, I mean, without being treated. Recycle used water from residences, commercial units, and industry through an efficient system of channeling out grey and wastewater through a new piping system. Many of our rivers and lakes are polluted. If this is not checked, then the problems can only be exacerbated. You see here a slide on desalination and the percentage of water, potable water, that comes out of the desalination plants. 70%. If you are to go to a restaurant or a cafeteria in Tel Aviv or anywhere in the country, most of the time you get water that is from a desalination plant. So also in the domestic level, you open your tap and you get desalinated water. And the way it's done efficiently is to have a two-pipe system. One in which grey water is removed. That is mainly from the toilets and the bathrooms. And the other through a pipe that enters the home, bringing in fresh water for drinking and for cooking. So this is very important. The flow of used water or wastewater has to be garnered and then converted and sent to the plants for conversion. This is very important, and Israel has succeeded in doing that by and large. Israel has recorded notable achievements on a global scale, as it is building the largest desalination plants in the world. And its desalinated water production technologies are significantly cheaper than that of the rest of the world. Desalination, unfortunately, is far too expensive for India. There was a time when the cost of desalination was as much as 70 and 80 rupees per kiloliter in Israel. Now that's come down to 50 rupees and is year by year going down even further. This will perhaps make the system affordable sometime in the future for us in India too. Right now we have one single water desalination plant for drinking purposes in Chennai. That is built by IDE Technologies of Israel. I overheard someone say that there are others, and that's great. But that is merely a model plant, because to build a larger plant would cost an enormous amount of money. And our system doesn't really encourage consumers to pay up so much. We are used to paying between 3 and 5 rupees per kiloliter in India. And with industry, you pay a little more. Still not sufficient in order to try out a desalination system and make it workable. Very difficult indeed, but we are getting there slowly.